Good night.
Hey, Detroyer is here, and he said he was up to debate you on modern day debate.
Okay.
He's
Well,
right
I'm
here.
I'm here. What would you like to talk about, Detroyer?
I was mostly just listening. Um, if you don't mind, I had a few criticisms if you want to go over that.
Go ahead.
So you presented a sort of argument against an infinite past. I'm someone who's more or less agnostic from whether the past is infinite, but I don't think the argument
Yeah, you
succeeds.
need to come closer to your microphone.
My apologies. I'm on my headphones. I'm not going to be able to get on my computer for a bit.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me or no? I can come back later.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you gave an example of, look, if something's infinitely far away, whether that's spatially or temporally, um, there's no way to start the journey from that thing and arrive at this thing, right? Um, right. So you gave the example of Mars and Earth or whatever. But of course, the person who thinks that the past is infinite doesn't think that, or need not think that, there is some day such that it is infinitely many days away from the present. That's not entailed. In the same way that, think of all the natural numbers, there's not one number that is an infinitely many numbers away from zero, right? Um, any particular number will be finitely many numbers away, but still the set is infinite in size.
Is that it?
Well, the point, yeah, I mean, I guess it would take some time to explain exactly where the argument goes wrong, but that's, I think,
So
maybe
you
something to
so
start
you
with.
believe an infinite series can be traversed?
Well, it depends on what you mean by traversed, right? In that, if
Yeah.
traversing requires starting at one and uh, or then moving at some point to another element that's infinitely many steps away, then no, right? I'm not affirming that, but that's not what's required for the path to be eternal.
It's not
That's
clear to me what you.
required.
I'm not clearly understanding your objection to anything that I stated.
Um, the objection is that on this understanding of traversing an infinite, I agree that it can't be done, but I'm denying that that's the sort of thing that would have to be done if the path is infinite. That's the point.
It has to be
How
done
would
in
how
order
how
for us
how would
to
you
arrive here.
how would you um do you hold to an A or a B model of time?
I think the B model is probably correct, but I'm not like committed either way.
Okay, all right. So are you positing an infinity of the past?
No, I think I don't think there's any good reason to think that there is an
Okay.
infinity in the past,
So
but there could be.
the point we were trying to make with that gentleman is that in order to have intelligibility, regularity must be real, okay? And it must be imposed and secured. Otherwise, it would just simply be uh, spontaneous, okay? It might be
Well,
consistent for a period of time and then stop. So unless the regularity is imposed and secured, right? Now, the question for him is what is it that ultimately and foundationally imposes that? And he said physics. But in order for that to be true, the physics would never have to begin to exist. Are we clear?
I understand your approach. I
If
don't agree
some
with
if
some of the
something
assumptions.
if something begins to exist, then can it be said that it is absolute and ultimate?
Well, you have built into the notion of absolute and ultimate that it doesn't begin to exist, right? So then, no.
No. Okay. So the point is, um, in order to believe in regularity as actual and a basis for intelligibility, it's going to have to be imposed and secured. Do you agree or not?
I don't. So let me kind of get your thoughts.
So then
then
the regularity is simply apparent, an illusion?
I don't see why we'd have to think that. So suppose...
Okay, so the regularity so the regularity is not illusory. So then what perpetuates, what institutes and perpetuates the regularity?
I'm not sure why something else would have to institute it. Look, the world could just be a certain way, right?
No, listen to me.
Obey certain regularity.
Is the regularity real?
If all that means is the world regular in this way, then yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that with the regularity mean what we're talking about are laws of physics, that the future will tend to behave like the past.
Mm-hmm.
So the regularity will go on in perpetuity.
Well, depending on what we mean by regularity, that's like a tautology, right? Since
I'm talking about the regular occurrences are not in and of themselves spontaneous occurrences, and that the regularity is being instituted and secured by something. Because if they're not instituted and secured by something, then each instance within the chain that we call regularity would simply be spontaneous.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by spontaneous in this way, but the view
it means that there's not something externally to it imposing the succession.
Right.
They're occurring for no reason.
Well,
so either the regularities, okay, are purely coincidental and spontaneous, or they're not coincidental and something is imposing and securing its continuance.
Yeah. So, I still
you
don't
object to
understand
that?
what it would mean. I do. Well, but in part because
what's the third option?
Well, so something could not be spontaneous. That's just how the world is, right? That's just how the world is.
No, you're not understanding it. I know.
Well, then
I'm just simply clear. Look, okay, spontaneous means it just pops into existence with no actual causal antecedent.
Yeah, there's no anchor to it.
So there is a causal antecedent, but nothing's
okay.
Why is opposed into something else?
Okay, good. Now, are each and every one of the causal antecedents for each one of the individual things that we call regularity in a sequence, okay? Are all of the antecedents imposed by something singular, or are the antecedents all unconnected and unrelated?
I'm trying to understand. Are they imposed by something singular? So say A causes B. What are the two options we're considering?
Let's suppose we have a chain of events. We'll say A. Okay. So we have 26 A's. Now, is each A as an event when it is followed by other A's? Are they related in any way that each successive A is imposed by something that unifies all of them? Or is each event of an A the product of an antecedent that is unrelated and non-unified?
I'll be honest, I don't understand the question. There's things, if the A's are causally connected.
Is there a singular unifier that is the antecedent that is instituting and securing the succession of A's?
Are you asking whether there's a first cause or something else?
No. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be chronological. It could simply be contemporary as well. The point is simply this: either the successive events, okay, are coincidental or not. Do you accept that?
Coincidental meaning what exactly?
Meaning that there's no relationship or anything unifying each successive event. each event is completely unrelated without any reason.
Well, I mean, sure. Yeah. So long as if there are these events, then either it's true that they're related in some ways, or they're not related in some ways. And of course,
Yeah. Do you accept that?
if that's a true dichotomy. Of course,
Yeah.
if
Do you
in
accept
the
it?
example, well, yeah, in the example we were given,
Yeah,
they're cause and
dude. You know,
connection,
you got to do
so I
better.
accept
You
that
got
they're
to do
related.
better at dialoguing. You got to do better as what you've done before, okay? Because I don't have these difficulties with other people that I'm talking to, even with people who disagree with me. Some of these questions I'm asking you are simply no-brainers. You are grotesquely overly complicating these issues.
Art, can I interject quick?
Sure.
I would like to rephrase what you're asking. Life, I will quote here, life requires an energy source and a stable environment, which in our case are provided by the sun. There have to be the right sorts of forces acting between particles of matter to make stable atoms, complex molecules, planets, and stars. If you don't have the right forces, you don't have a stable universe. And then you have to ask, what instantiates these right forces which are acting upon in the universe to instantiate a universe which can permit life?
Yeah, so I guess my question in response to that would be, what would it mean for something to instantiate these forces? Are you asking for something that's causing them to obtain? Or
These forces could be any kind.
Hey, Detroyer, do you realize that whenever things are posed to you, every single time you have to go into your little definitional mode with rare exception?
What does
can
it
I
mean
explain
to
why?
No, you're doing this as a tactic. It's obvious what you're doing.
No, so like the issue is that these are some
There is no
complex
issue.
issues.
You're making it an
The
issue.
terminology is
Uh,
often unclear, and
Okay,
in order to
okay,
navigate
stop. Listen to me. You're full of crap. Okay?
Okay.
You're doing what ended the last conversation that we had. Okay? You're doing the same shtick again. There's nothing unclear about what I'm saying to you.
Well, no, I think there is. So even when we talk
Can
about
you
things that are
can you explain to me that why when I go over these same issues that you're one of the rare individuals that has troubles with it?
well, people aren't thinking about these things in a serious philosophical
No,
way.
because
So
they're not pulling Angstreich moves. Okay. Now the point is simply this: if regularities are real, we're not simply talking about appearance. We're talking about why they actually exist in chronological succession. Okay? So either the similarity of chronological succession, those regularities, either they are imposed or they're not imposed. Now, is that clear to you?
no. So
Okay, good. Then we're done. Thank you. Go away. Go back to your other server. I couldn't have made it even more clear for you. Okay, it's a waste of time talking with you. Okay, if the successive similar events are not imposed, then there's no relationship to why rhyme or reason why these things happen. They're unrelated.
that's just not true, though.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me give you an analogy. In the theory of evolution, okay, are mutations random?
So they're sort of treated as random, more or less, but randomness there is going to be a relative notion.
No, mutations are not random. They're considered to have a definitive but a variety of different causes. Okay?
Huh?
Nobody thinks that mutations happen for no literal physical rhyme or reason. That
No, yeah, I
there is
agree,
something
obviously.
that causes the mutation. Okay, good. Then each point mutation is not random.
Right, but as I
Okay?
was saying, in sort of for practical purposes, they're treated as more or
Now,
less random in the theory, but They're not strictly speaking.
No, the arrangement of the mutations are considered to be random, because there is not one thing unifying each of the successive mutations. Okay,
those aren't treated to be random
so
either,
each
in a strict sense.
no, the arrangement of the what determines the arrangement of the nucleotides in mutation?
It's going to be some. It's going to be something in physics. I don't know.
No, wrong. Are you familiar with the double helix?
Obviously, yes.
Okay, you know that each of the nucleotide molecules have a sugar phosphate backbone, right?
Mm-hmm. To which the ACT, yeah, right.
Right. So, what chemically joins each nucleotides together?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't tell you right now. Why does it matter?
It's the hydrogen bonds, but the question is why is the sequence information
Please,
varying?
Antangelo, please. It is the sugar phosphate backbone which joins each of the nucleotides together. Did you know that?
Hello?
Yeah, it's the sugar phosphate backbone of each nucleotide. That's why it's called the backbone. It connects and provides the permanent relationship between one nucleotide being adjacent to another. It's the sugar phosphate backbone. Okay. That is the only chemical bond between the nucleotides.
It's actually incorrect.
Okay, then correct me.
There are two forces. It is the hydrogen bond between the bases and the phosphate, the triphosphate, which bonds from one nucleotide to the other. So there are basically two forces which hold the lead together.
Provide me with a link where there is a chemical bonding between the actual nucleotide and the next nucleotide, other than the sugar phosphate backbone. Provide me with a link for that, please.
Yes, the bases.
What's the relevance anyway? Just suppose that it's this way. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
He will come to that.
I'm not talking. Listen to me, Antangelo. I'm not talking about the base pairs being joined together. I'm talking about the base pair as a nucleotide. Okay. What is the chemical reason why one nucleotide is adjacent to another? I'm not talking about what joins the base pairs together. Okay. The base pair is a nucleotide. Okay. What is it that provides for the permanent consecutive arrangement of the nucleotides? And there's one answer. That is the sugar phosphate backbone. It's called the spine of the DNA. Okay?
Sure.
The point is this: is if you want to have future conversations, I don't think you're a stupid person. I enjoy talking with smart people, but you got to stop this hyper definitional little game where you object to everything.
Look, I could just respond as I understand the terms, but we're not going to make any progress.
Yeah, I don't have this problem with a lot of people. Okay, why do you think it's unique to you?
Well, it's not unique to me, first off. Again, I think you don't have this problem with a lot of people because they're not thinking about these things seriously.
Can I interject here quick?
Go ahead.
The problem here is that the sequence of nucleotides, it is unconstrained, but you require the right instructional sequence, which then will impose the sequence of amino acids, which will make functional proteins. This sequence, it is specified and complex. You require, and this is information which is instructional, and you require an explanation why that sequence is the way it is in order to confer functionality, which then will provide the making of functional proteins, which are in a literal sense molecular machines. We don't know any other source than intelligence which can
We're not talking
confer
about that. Angelo, we're not talking about creation.
Why did you bring up the backbone connecting things, Darth?
Okay, because it is what mechanically and permanently joins and keeps the relationship from one nucleotide to another. I brought it up as an analogy. I have in my hands, I'm holding a wireless earphone case in my hand. I just let it go 10 times and it fell to my palm, okay? So we have the same repeating event 10 times in a row, Detroyer. Is there something that singularly unifies and imposes that behavior 10 times in a row?
It's going to be a variety of explanations, given which...
Yeah, your microphone, get closer to your microphone.
So, for example...
Get closer to your microphone. I can't understand you.
I'm sorry, also my connection has been spotty.
Okay, is there something that unifies each event that is similar or the same? Is there something that is one thing that unifies the same kind of event happening 10 times in a row and that imposes the sameness?
Well, let me know if this satisfies your requirement instead of just... So look,
all right.
the things
listen to me. Listen, dude, do you have any personal awareness of how obtuse you are? I keep asking you a direct question. I just dropped my earphone case 10 times onto my palm. Is there something that unifies the sameness of those 10 events?
Yeah, so I'm trying to answer. So
what is it?
In a sense, yes, right?
In one sentence, what is it?
And the environment.
What is it?
What is it? Sorry?
In one sentence, what is it?
Sorry, you're cutting out on me, but it might be my connection.
Okay, do me a favor. Come back when you have a better connection and a better microphone, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm not going to keep doing this.
That was just painful to listen to. I think
listen. I mean, I welcome him come back in here because he's not a stupid guy, but he's repeating the same crap that he did the last time we talked, where it's nonstop hair splitting and objecting to everything.
Dart,
I've spoken to him once, and it was the same thing.
He said that
I didn't understand your explanation of the backbone of nucleotides. What was your point?
I was simply using that as an analogy of consecutive occurrences. Is there something that imposes the consecutive occurrence or not? Is it simply happenstance or simply pure randomness? Or is there something that imposes the consecutive occurrences?
He was trying to say that there's a third option, which is that's just the way things are. But that would be a brute fact, which would be for no reason.
That would be indistinguishable. That would be indistinguishable from spontaneity. Okay.
Hey, Dart, he said he was down for a modern day debate. Would you do it since he's here? Like,
not until we have several conversations where he can show himself not to be so obtuse, and every word I say is controversial, and he splits hairs and hyper defines.
Well, it's intellectual heel dragging.
Yeah, that's.
I had an interaction with Tom Rabbitt, and he asked me to tell you that he offers you $500.
Yeah, you already told me that. You already told me that. Okay. Now here's a guy who knows he's being unethical, stealing my content to put on his channel. Okay. He's stealing my basic content, right? And yet he wants to offer me $500. Here's a guy who every time I showed up to converse with him with moderators in other rooms, he ran away. Tom Rabbitt is not somebody who is a serious player. He's simply a clown, okay? He's one of the many clowns in the clown car posse on the usual atheist echo chamber ghettos, okay? Now, I gave him another opportunity. I said, fine, I'll debate with you on modern day debate. I said, but we're we're going to talk right now on Discord with strict moderation, and he refused to do it. Okay, it's that simple. He had many opportunities to do it. He's full of crap. And by the way, he spent most of his time doing clickbaits, right? Trying to present me in the worst possible light when it's simply recordings of me, right? So he's a waste of time. First of all, there's nobody in the atheist community who thinks he's going to be able to have a defense of atheism. When has he ever been known to defend atheism?
He just asked me to tell you that. So
okay, yeah. Okay. Look, he's an unethical person. He's a reprobate atheist, right? I've given him numerous opportunities to dialogue with me, and yet he wants to pull the modern day debate card. Okay. Now, if this grown man, or should I say teenager trapped in an adult body, cannot have any type of dialogue with me over several years when I've attempted to do so on at least a dozen occasions on different servers with other moderators there, and he's refused every single time, and almost every time he's ran out of those servers and just simply fled, okay? I'm not going to play his little game, okay?
Darth, can I ask you?
You know, in a second. Another thing is, what reason would I have to trust him that he won't engage in trolling responses like all the other modern day debate interlocutors, with the exception of Mark Drysdale, given his past behavior? You know,
but you're
for
talking
one,
about Tom Rabbitt, right? He is asking you to debate that.
okay,
I don't
yeah,
know
you know what,
Angstreich.
you don't know this guy, okay, and I just explained it to you several times, okay. So either you're going to accept my characterization or not, Otangelo, okay.
No,
I'm not
what
opposing what
Otangelo
you're
is saying is that he's trying to get you to debate Jack Angstreich, Darth.
Oh well, I thought you were referring to Tom Rabbitt. Yeah, we've already been down.
No,
that
Tom
path,
Rabbitt
okay?
doesn't want to debate you.
This is okay. See, this is the obsession with atheists. They know that Jack has acted like a complete a-hole for 10 years. The atheists themselves know that there's something wrong with Angstreich. Okay, he's violated the terms of service, not only of Pal Talk. He's violated the terms of service of Google Hangouts. He's violated the terms of service of Discord repeatedly by engaging in stalking and harassing behavior. Now, if somebody who is personally engaged in both direct and indirect means of slandering, smearing me, okay, and I won't even go into detail other things that he. Okay, let me finish. I'm not even going to go into detail of some of his more vile behavior that has gone on behind the scenes, which I'm not going to get into. Okay, I don't care whether people believe that or not. This is a person who has behaved himself in a chronic history of reprehensible behavior. Okay, and so
Darth, if Jack came out and publicly admitted to this behavior and apologized for it publicly, would you consider debating him?
Probably not, because I would have no reason to believe that there's a scintilla of sincerity with him, given his 10 years of bad behavior.
I don't think he'd ever admit to it or apologize for it anyway.
The point is this, okay? They used to say all the time, Jack and his groupies, right? They would pick avatars with various color belts, right? And they would constantly accuse me of picking on low-hanging fruit or white belts, right? Over and over and over again. And other atheists repeated this garbage, right? Now, every opportunity that I've been able to avail myself of these professional atheists or professional philosophers, recently on the AMAs, right? I have come in and attempted to dialogue and debate with them, okay? None of them lasted more than 15 minutes before Detroyer and Canadian Catholic jump in and rescue these people under false pretenses, like Detroyer argued that I was rude, which I was never rude to any of them, okay? So the point is,
get down, Mr. President.
And I have shown by example that I do show up against these professional atheists, right? And so that I just don't pick on low-hanging fruit. I will talk with anybody as long as they don't have a past chronic history of vile behavior. Once somebody repeatedly treats me vilely, okay, consistently and chronically, I'm done with them, okay? I'm a grown man. I am not going to put up with this type of terrible behavior on the part of certain miscreants that are on the internet who might fancy themselves as philosophical aficionados. It's not going to happen. You can go pound sand. And you know what, something? These atheists need to grow up. Stop obsessing with me, okay? They have mental, emotional problems. They are obsessed with me morning, noon, and night. Okay. If I'm such an idiot, if I'm such a moron, okay, why do they even bother to listen?
I didn't know that background. I don't know that guy actually. So
yeah. This is all a part of their continued little carnival act, Otangelo. Okay.
Can I
actually tried once to have a debate with him without knowing him, and then he said, "Oh, I don't have StreamYard, so you either have another server."
Okay, look. Otangelo, listen to me. From now on, if somebody contacts you, send it to me in a DM, because I don't even want to discuss it. It's wasting my time. Okay, it's a total waste of time. We have grown men atheists on the interweb, specifically in Discord. They're very strange and perverted people. They're not sincere players. They're not sincere debaters. Even the professional atheists that I've recently encountered over the last month or two showed themselves to be the frauds and disingenuous people that they are.
Can I offer some perspective on what you've just asked?
No, I'm not interested in hearing about it.
Didn't someone say that they're
related to
currently
what you're
breaking the
talking about.
TOS because
No,
of their bots?
have you been in the Discord community knowing on what's been going on for 10 years? Or excuse me, the last few years?
No, I'm new, but you
Good.
asked.
Then I don't want your perspective, okay? Because you're
Yeah,
not
but it might help. It
with
might
the
help.
internet. Okay, no, yeah, it might help if I server mute you. Okay. Here we got another know-it-all Monday morning quarterback who thinks he knows what's going on.
Didn't someone say that these, I don't know who exactly, but people in this atheist group are currently breaking the TOS with their unregistered stalker bots, where they detect you on servers with them?
Yeah, that's also
they're supposed
true.
to be registered or something.
Yeah.
And that's against the TOS.
Look, if somebody wants to interact with me, you better not engage in chronic bad behavior directed toward me. And is that an excuse because I'm afraid of talking with somebody? I think I've demonstrated over the last 10 years I'm not afraid of talking with anybody. But I am willing to draw a line in the sand. You act really bad toward me and you do it repeatedly and chronically, good. Go somewhere else, little girl.
yeah, there has always to be a drawing line where you say, "Okay, no conversation anymore." I agree. I do the same.
Well, that's the only thing they can say, right? They can't admit to their own bad
I gotta change
behavior.
my headset. I can't.
So they have to say that you're scared of them.
If you have already had an exhaustive dialogue and it isn't fruitful or disrespectful or whatever, you say no more, then how can they say that that you are afraid of them if you already had the dialogue? So that
Really very simple.
Doesn't.
Okay. Oh, Tangent, listen. Okay. These are reprobate atheists who are also trolls. Okay. That's why they mock and ridicule me, because I say I, quote, have a troll list. Once somebody gets on my troll list for bad chronic behavior, rarely do I take them off it. I have in the past, but only on rare occasions, to give some people a benefit of the doubt. But once somebody crosses my line where I draw a line in the sand, I really don't care that they go, oh, Darth Dawkins, he's afraid. If I'm so afraid, why would I go up again? Why would I jump into the AMAs and try to dialogue and have an interaction, or even attempt to have a debate with these professional atheists? Why?
Of course.
William Lane Craig said that Graham Oppie was one of the scary, smart atheists on the landscape. And I fully accept the fact that Graham Oppie is a really intelligent guy. I have no doubt about that. Okay? He's written a number of publications, right? He's greatly academically achieved, right? And he's earned it. I don't dispute that. But how come he couldn't last more than 10 minutes with me? He couldn't get rid of me fast enough, right? Was I being rude to him? No. Right? It's just that some of these professional atheists, they don't like to be challenged under certain settings.
I think that in his interaction with you, he didn't demonstrate that more smartness at all. He was very simplistic in his defense.
I was shocked. I was shocked at how pathetic his response to me for his atheism. Okay.
He didn't want to say it, Darth, because he's too polite, but he wanted to get rid of you because you're a slippery double glazer.
Well, he had no substance in his answers.
That was Stephen Law, not Graham Oppie, who said that.
Someone is challenging you in chat. It's Laura Poppins.
What do you have to say, Laura? Okay, I have about a half an hour before I'm going to go to dinner, so go ahead, Laura. We're waiting. I'm not going to do this back and forth in text. It's not going to happen. Go ahead. Get on your mic, Laura.
Well, maybe as she gets on the mic, can I ask you, Darth, what do you think of the vegan YouTuber Ask Yourself?
I think he's a fairly intelligent young man. However, he succumbs to the trolling tactics as so many atheists have done. I've dialogued and debated with him on numerous occasions, and we were quite cordial and friendly for a period of time. He even gave me a room on his server. But the last several encounters, he went into complete, full-blown atheist troll mode. And I mean, in all capital letters. And the last time he did that, after he did it several times before, I told him, I said, you're gonna stop the trolling, the nonstop interrupting, the nonstop evading when I ask you simple questions and you play the evasive games and you try to, rabbit trail and throw down red herrings. So you're going to stop the trolling? I said, or I will never talk with you again. And he says, good, don't talk with me ever again. I say, fine. And I haven't. And he's come back and begged and pleaded to dialogue, even debate with me. And I basically told him, go pound sand. You made your bed, now sleep in it. Go away and argue with someone else, little boy.
Speaking of dialoguing, wasn't
that was
Laura
a sad
Poppins? Wasn't Laura Poppins about to say something?
Say again?
Sorry, I was just saying that was a sad ending to your pretty cordial interactions that were at the beginning. So that's quite sad.
It wasn't my doing. It was his. He wanted to behave like a total little punk, right? Which he did, and then he has the nerve to go around to say, which is typical of these arrogant atheists who thinks that they're more philosophically erudite, which they probably are more knowledgeable in certain philosophical issues than other average atheists. But he wants to just strut around, like he's big man on campus, that I'm afraid to debate him, which is ridiculous. Because I've debated him on numerous occasions. And you know what his tactic was in our previous debates and interactions is to filibuster. Okay? Go ahead, Laura. What's your objection?
Yeah, is my mic working now?
It seems to be, yeah.
Oh, that's good.